If you were shrunk down to the size of a nickel and put into a blender, would you be able to get out? And if we would have the same jump height as what we have right now as a regular sized human, wouldn't that mean we could jump right on out of the blender? Or would we be so small that we can climb out of it? And you see, the blender's just about yay high to a human. And as I put this cup down, you can see what I mean by yay high to a human. While I was stepping around this blender type object, I realized that it was only up to my ankles. As I was walking around and thinking about this question, I realized that this is going to be one complex answer because this question is one complex question. And after digging in and doing a little bit more research on it, I found out I wasn't the only one seeking the answer for this question. So, even though the average answer was to get lower than the blades before the blades would turn on and just to hide underneath the blades until they turn off, it's not the best answer because if you was to get lower than the blades before they turn on and just stay there, the minute that the blades would turn on, the air suction from the blades turning on would suck up the human into the blades, causing the end. So that is part of the reason why staying underneath the blades before they start is not a good idea because if you stay underneath the blades before they start, when they do start up, that'll be it right then and there. You get what I'm saying? So that makes sense. And a lot of people also answered that they would climb out of the blender, but the problem with that is that a human is not like it would have a human would have a hard time climbing up glass, unlike a reptile would, like a frog and stuff like that, or say a lizard, for instance. A lizard would probably be able to climb up glass way better than a human could ever do that. So that would be one of the factors that go into stopping a human from getting out is try to climb the glass. And the best answer would probably be just to jump out of the blender itself, because if a human did shrink, they would still have muscle and stuff like that. So if they still had the same height that they would jump as whenever they were tall, like a regular sized human, they could easily jump out of the little blender right away. It would be like an insect jumping up. They could jump pretty high, right? So that that's what would happen if a person was shrunk inside of there. The best possible way for them to get out at that point is just to jump on out of it. You see, lizards have certain feet that allow them to climb up glass like it's nothing, real simple, like going up something, it's they stick to it. They're able to grab onto it with the way their feet are made. So a human don't have feet or hands that are anything like a lizard. So it's not like if you put your hand on a glass, it's gonna suction to the glass, like create a vacuum seal to where you gotta really pull it back to get onto the next part of the glass. It's not gonna do that, right? Not unless you're wearing some type of special suit or something. And think about a squirrel, how a squirrel is able to hop from being on the ground to almost mid-level tree, able to hop over that, basically. It's because they're such a small, creature, okay, a small animal. And the thing with that is that their muscles are like is like springs. So it's real simple for them to get to one place to the next by jumping, right? But a human is not made that way. Like a squirrel is made to jump from one place to the next, but a human can still jump really high, even if they would be a small human, like the size of a nickel. Even if they would be that size of a nickel, they could still jump out of a blender. But the final answer in all of this is that if a human is shrunk down to the size of a nickel and put into a blender and tries to get out, that is really impossible to do. Because the thing is, you cannot shrink a human brain cells and you cannot shrink your heart neither without dying. So you can never shrink a human down to the size of a nickel.